Hello and welcome to Fresh and Fruity. This is a program where we enlighten you more about fruit production, how to become a successful fruit farmer, and also how to make good money from your fruit business. Now on today's episode, we are looking at the passion fruit farming. Now in our previous episode, we talked about the passion fruit. Now let's have a 2 or 3 minutes recap of what we discussed.
In fact, passion fruit farming is one of the lucrative ventures in Kenya, especially in horticulture. Passion fruit farming is very profitable in terms of returns to investment. The only thing many farmers fear is the long duration from the first planting to harvesting, because it takes some time.
Yeah.
Many farmers like 3 month duration crops, but passion fruit, it takes about 10 months to 12 months to achieve the first harvest. But if you go to the calculations, the returns of passion fruits, they are worth, because from the first harvesting until the last harvest, it will take about 3 to 5 years, depending with the agronomic practices.
So how much can it bring to your pocket? Let's say you have a quarter acre of land.
Yes.
How much are you likely to reap from passion fruit farming?
Yeah, quarter of an acre, it's quite a big, substantially big portion of land. And most small-scale farmers, in fact, they don't plant that much. Even some plant 100 plants, 200 plants, and they still make money. Because, for example, one crop, it can produce about 23 to 25 kilos, even per season.
One crop per season?
One crop per season. A quarter of an acre, we'll be having about 200 to 300 plants.
Best ecological zones that you can grow the passion fruit, because all over Kenya farmers would love maybe to dive into the fruit business, but they have to know the best regions where they can get maximum production. In Kenya, which are the best zones to grow passion fruit?
For the two varieties, yellow passion is suited for lowlands. Any altitude below 1100 meters above sea level is suitable for yellow passion.
That is the Machakos area.
Yes,
Kitui, down to the coastal region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although you can find maybe some areas of Makueni or Machakos, you'll find there are some areas with high altitudes. Yeah, like Boni, you know, Boni, there is some highlands there. The altitude is high. There, the yellow passion won't do well. So the first thing is you consider the altitude. Anything below 1100 meters, yellow passion will be very much suitable.
That is very specific and good. Now I have done the organic manure, I have planted my crop, and as you told us, to start flowering, there's yellow takes 8 to 10 months and purple takes 10 to 12 months. Wow, that is what we discussed on our previous episode, and back with us today is our agronomist Richard Wachira, who gave us some good insight on our previous episode, as you have seen, and he is here to tell us now how can we take care of our crops and how can you know that your fruits are ready to go to the market, and also how you can market your passion fruit to get a good income. Kindly briefly introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do, especially in the agricultural space.
My name is Richard Wachira, an agronomist and a consultant at Smart Farms Association of Kenya.
Let's dive deep onto today's topics, where we are looking at how to take care of the passion fruit. We talked about land preparation, we talked about selecting the correct seedlings, and now the fruit has grown. You need to take care. What are the care management practices that a passion fruit farmer needs to do in order to succeed in passion fruit farming?
It's a matter of controlling the pests and diseases, and also nutrition. Last time I said about the fusarium, brown spot and woodiness virus. For fusarium, I said that you cannot control it. Once it enters, it's that way.
That way. Mm-hmm.
But now for brown spot, which is also notorious, that one you use fungicides. Fungicides, they are chemicals which are found in shops. You can very easily control brown spot. There are some pests like mites, aphids, which also can be controlled using pesticides which are found in agrovets. Another thing is nutrition, that is feeding the plant. Passion fruit is very sensitive to some elements, and especially trace elements. Farmers concentrate so much on the big elements like the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Then they forget there is other elements like magnesium, boron, zinc, sulfur, calcium. They are very crucial
In passion fruit.
in passion fruit growing. Because, for example, lack of boron and also sulfur and zinc, you'll find most of times the flowers are dropping. That is flower abortion, which is greatly influenced by the deficiency of those elements.
Aside from pests and diseases, there's the pruning. How many times should the farmer prune in order to get maximum fruits from their tree?
In fact, pruning should be continuous, because what you prune is any diseased branch. Anytime you detect a diseased branch, just remove it. Once the branch is through with production, you should also prune that one, because passion fruits are born on young shoots. They are not born on old shoots. You are supposed to prune any diseased branch or any branch that has already finished bearing. And I've said that old shoots, they don't bear fruits. You have to cut it back so that once the young shoots come again, they come up with fruits. There is something we call training of passion fruits. Training is where you put posts and a wire. When the crop is young, you allow two laterals to go up. Once they get to the wire, you allow one to go on the left, the other one to go on the right. Once one goes to 1.5 meters, you nip at the tip. So now the laterals which are growing from the wire, those are the producing branches. Yeah.
Does mulching help passion fruits?
Very much important, because you'll find many farmers use irrigation or depend on rainfall. So in order to conserve moisture, it is very crucial to do the mulching.
Now, after you've taken care of the crop, of course, now you have prepared the crop. After feeding it, it is now ready to give you fruits, right? So looking at the fruit production, how does a farmer increase their fruit yield on the farm? Looking at the grafting processes, looking at the flower, how you take care of the crop at the flowering stage. How does one increase their passion fruit yields?
Especially now you've mentioned the grafting. That is a way of increasing production. Because in the previous episode I talked about the fusarium wilt, which is a disease that cannot be cured. But you'll find the yellow passion fruit, the original yellow, which is very bitter, is used to graft the purple passion fruit.
Yes.
And the yellow passion fruit is used because it is tolerant and resistant to soil-borne pests and diseases, even the fusarium wilt. And now the purple passion fruit is very popular in the local market. Also, it is very susceptible to those diseases.
So, Bwana Richard, you've told us for one to increase their yield, the grafting is very key because it makes the crop have a pest disease and tolerance. What if those farmers who have already dived into the passion business, maybe a few years or a few seasons ago, they got good production, but after that the production went low? How or what can they do in order to go back to producing good and well yields?
the farmers should understand, once they harvest, they've removed nutrients from the soil. And these nutrients have to be replaced. And that also demands they have to do frequent soil analysis to see what amount of nutrients have been uptaken by plants. Because even, for example, when you go to buy that fruit, it has a content of minerals.
Yes.
They've been taken from the soil. They have to be replaced. So I would advise the farmers to be putting organic manure every year after pruning, after the first flush, after they harvest the first crop. They should, and also put manure, and also anything recommended by the soil analysis report. Farmers should also take into consideration control of weeds. Weeds also compete for the plant's nutrients. So at least the orchard should always be clean, because even there is something we call field hygiene. Field hygiene is when there is no weeds, and also the litter that you prune, it is not supposed to be in that field. In fact, many farmers leave the weeds and also the debris from the prunings, and then they cause infection to the crop.
So they should take care of the weeds, that is weeding every time they have come in, and they can also use this weed as mulch after it has dried.
Yes.
All right, so hold on to that thought. We will be taking a short commercial break, but when we come back, we will talk about the benefits of diving into the passion business, how to know your fruit is ripe, and also what to look for when you are sourcing for your passion fruit market.